Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradari, Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhatta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Reading from Bhagavad-Gita As It Is. If you're new here, my name is Dan. I'm a former monk, and I help people become more Krishna conscious. That's what I do. That's what we need. We need more Krishna consciousness in the world. That's the only thing. There's no lack of anything, but there's a lack of Krishna consciousness. I know, I see it in America. There's a big lack of Krishna consciousness in America. Whoo, it's crazy. Okay, Bhagavad-Gita As It Is. Therefore, the bhaktas, or the transcendentalists who have realized the absolute truth, are the topmost transcendentalists, although all students who are engaged in the study of the absolute truth are engaged in the same subject matter. The sunshine, the sun disk, and the inner affairs of the sun planet cannot be separated from one another, and yet the students of the three different phases are not in the same category. The Sanskrit word Bhagavan is explained by the great authority Parashar Muni, the father of Vyasadeva. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who possesses all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation, is called Bhagavan. There are many persons who are very rich, very powerful, very beautiful, very famous, very learned, and very much detached, but no one can claim that he possesses all riches, all strength, etc. entirely. Only Krishna can claim this because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, or Narayan, can possess opulence as fully as Krishna. Therefore, it's concluded in the Brahma Samhita by Lord Brahma himself that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to or above him. He is the primeval Lord, or Bhagavan, known as Govinda, and he is the supreme cause of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidanandaha Sachid Ananda Vigraha Adir Govinda Surva Karanam Karanam. There are many personalities possessing the qualities of Bhagavan, but Krishna is the supreme because no one can excel him. He is the supreme person, and his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He is the primeval Lord, Govinda, and the cause of all causes. In the Bhagavatam also there is a list of many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Krishna is described as the original personality of Godhead, from whom many, many incarnations and personalities expand. Ite kamsha kala pumsam Krishnas tu Bhagavan swayam idrari vayukulam lokam vridayanti yuge yuge. All the lists of the incarnations of Godhead submitted herewith are either plenary expansions or part of the plenary expansions of the Supreme Godhead, but Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Therefore, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, the source of both the Supersoul and the impersonal Brahman. In the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna's lamentation for his kinsman is certainly unbecoming, and therefore Krishna expressed his surprise with the word kutas, wherefrom such unmanly sentiments were never expected from a person belonging to the civilized class of men known as Aryans. The word Aryan is applicable to persons who know the value of life and have civilization based on spiritual realization. Persons who are led by the material conception of life do not know that the aim of life is realization of the absolute truth, Vishnu or Bhagavan, and they are captivated by the external features of the material world, and therefore they do not know what liberation is. Yeah, most people are captivated by the external things of this material world, like, like phones. Like, how many people are captivated by phones? Everywhere you go, people are looking at their phones for entertainment, right? Everywhere you go. Doesn't matter which country you go to. India, America, doesn't matter. People are attached to their phones. Persons who have no knowledge of liberation from material bondage are called non-Aryans. Although Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he was deviating from his prescribed duties by declining to fight. This act of cowardice is described as befitting the non-Aryans. Such deviation from duty does not help one in the progress of spiritual life, nor does it even give one the opportunity to become famous in this world. Lord Krishna did not approve of the so-called compassion of Arjuna for his kinsman. Text 3. Klaibyam ma sma gama partha naitat trai upapadyate shudram hridaya dorbalyam twakt votishta parantapa. Translation. Klaibyam, impotence. Ma, do not. Sma, take it. Gama, go in. Partha, osanaprita. Na, never. Etat, like this. Twayi, unto you. Upapadyate is befitting. Shudram, very little. Hridaya, heart. Darbalyam, weakness. Twaktva, given up. Utishta, get up. Prantapa, O chastiser of the enemies. Translation, O son of Prita, do not yield to the degrading impotence. Do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up petty weakness of the heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Okay, let's continue with Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Canto 1, Chapter 8. But when we are liberated from material affection and are situated in our original spiritual form, we can see both ourselves and the Lord face to face. Mukti means to be reinstated in one's original spiritual status after giving up the material conception of life. Therefore, human life is specifically meant for qualifying ourselves for the spiritual liberty. Unfortunately, under the influence of illusionary material energy, we accept this spot life only a few years as our permanent existence. So people are like accepting this like temporary life in the material world as their permanent existence, and thus become illusioned by possessing so-called country, home, land, children, wife, community, wealth, etc., with a false representations created by Maya illusion. Yeah, people are accepting like this small span of life as like permanent. Okay, they're not focused on like the next life. That's the problem. That's illusion. When you just accept your current reality and you don't even focus on like the next life, you're so obsessed with your temporary reality that you're not even focusing on the next life. You're not reading, you're not chanting. Maya. And under the dictation of Maya, we fight with one another to protect these false possessions. By cultivating, we fight with each other to protect false possessions, guys. Nothing belongs to us. It's all Krishna's. Okay. By cultivating spiritual knowledge, we can realize that we have nothing to do with all this material paraphernalia. Then at once we become free from material attachment. This clearance of misgivings of material existence at once takes place by association with the Lord's devotees, who are able to inject the transcendental sound into the depths of the bewildered heart, and thus make one practically liberated from all lamentation and illusion. That is a summary of the pacifying measure for those affected by the reaction of stringent laws exhibited in the forms of birth, death, old age, and disease, which are insoluble factors of material existence. The victims of war, namely the family members of the crews, were lamenting the problems of death, and the Lord pacified them on the basis of knowledge. Text 5. Sarayat vajata shatro swam rajyam kitavar ritam Gata yitva sato ragnya kacha sparsha shatayusha. Translation: Sada Yitva, having executed Ajita Shatro, one who has no enemy, Swarajam, one kingdom, Kitavai, by the clever, Duryodhan and party, Ritam, usurped, Gata Yitva, having killed Asatab, the unscrupulous, Ragna of the queens, Kacha, bunch of hair, Sparsha, roughly handled, Shata, decreased, Ayusha, by the duration of life. Translation: the clever Duryodhan and his party cunningly usurped the kingdom of Yudhisthira, who had no enemy. By the grace of the Lord, the recovery was executed, and the unscrupulous kings who joined Duryodhan were killed by him. Others also died, their duration of life having decreased for the rough handling of the hair of Queen Draupadi. Let's read this again. The clever Duryodhan and his party cunningly usurped the kingdom of Yudhisthira, who had no enemy. By the grace of the Lord, the recovery was executed, and the unscrupulous kings who joined with Duryodhan were killed by him. Others also died, their duration of life having decreased for the rough handling of the hair of Queen Draupadi. Purport: in the glorious days, or before the advent of the age of Kali, the brahmanas, the cows, the women, the children, and the old men were properly given protection. The protection of the brahmanas maintains the institution of varna and ashram, the most scientific culture for attainment of spiritual life. The protection of cows maintains the most miraculous form of food, example, milk, for maintaining the finer tissues of the brain for understanding higher aims of life. The protection of women maintains the chastity of society by which we can get a good generation for peace, tranquility, and progress of life. The protection of children gives the human form of life its best chance to prepare the way of liberty from material bondage. Such protection of children begins from the very day of begetting a child by the purificatory process of Garbhadana, Samskar, Garbhadan Samskar, the beginning of pure life. The protection of the old men gives them a chance to prepare themselves for better life after death. The complete outlook is based on factors leading to successful humanity as against the civilization of polished cats and dogs. The killing of the above-mentioned innocent creatures is totally forbidden because even by insulting them, one loses one's duration of life. In the age of Kali, they are not properly protected, and therefore the duration of life of the present generation has shortened considerably. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is stated that when the women become unchaste for want of proper protection, there are unwanted children called Varna Sankar. To insult a chaste woman means to bring about the disaster in the duration of life. Dushasana, a brother of Duryodhan, insulted Draupadi, an ideal chaste lady, and therefore the miscreants died untimely. These are some of the stringent laws of the Lord mentioned above. Text 6. Yaja yat vas famidais tam tribir utama kalpakai tar yasha pavanam dikshu satar manyor ivatanat. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, reading from Krishna book now. Jai Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna book. Krishna book. Okay, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. It is very important to note in this connection how wealthy the inhabitants of Vrindavan were simply by raising cows. All the cowherd men belonged to the Vaishya community, and their business was to protect the cows and cultivate crops. By their dress and ornaments and by their behavior, it appears that although they were in a small village, they still were rich in material possessions. They possessed such an abundance of various kinds of milk products, and they were throwing butter lavishly on each other's bodies without restriction. Their wealth was in milk, yogurt, clarified butter, and many other milk products, and by trading their agricultural products, they were rich in various kinds of jewelry, ornaments, and costly garments. Not only did they possess all these things, but they could give them away in charity lavishly, as did Nanda Maharaj. Yeah, so they're nice Vaishyas. They're selling milk, and because they're selling so many milk products, they became rich, which you could also do. You could also sell milk products to become rich. That's actually a good idea. Thus, Nanda Maharaj, the foster father of Lord Krishna, began to satisfy the desires of all the men assembled here. He respectfully received them and gave them in charity whatever they desired. The learned brahmanas, who had no other source of income, were completely dependent on the Vaishya community for their maintenance, and they received gifts on such festive occasions as birthdays and marriages. While Nanda Maharaj was worshipping Lord Vishnu on the occasion, on this occasion was trying to satisfy all the people there. His only desire was that the newborn child Krishna would be happy. Nanda Maharaj had no knowledge that this child was the origin of Vishnu. He was praying to Lord Vishnu to protect him. Rohini Devi, the mother of Balaram, was the most fortunate wife of Vasudeva. She was away from her husband, yet just to congratulate Maharaj Nanda on the occasion of the birth ceremony of his son, Krishna, she dressed herself very nicely. Wearing a garland, a necklace, and other bodily ornaments, she appeared on the scene and moved hither and thither. According to the Vedic system, a woman whose husband is not at home does not dress herself very nicely. But although Rohini's husband was away, she still dressed herself very nicely on this occasion. From the opulence of the birth ceremony of Krishna, it is clear that at that time, Vrindavan was rich in every respect. Because Lord Krishna took birth in the house of King Nanda and Mother Yashoda, the goddess of fortune was obliged to manifest her opulences in Vrindavan. It appeared that Vrindavan had already become a site for the pastimes of the goddess of fortune. After the birth ceremony, Nanda Maharaj decided to go to Mathura to pay the annual tax to the government of Kamsa. Before leaving, he called for the able cowherd men of the village and asked them to take care of Vrindavan in his absence. When Nanda Maharaj arrived in Mathura, Vasudeva got the news and was very eager to congratulate his friend. He immediately went to the place where Nanda Maharaj was staying. When Nanda saw Vasudeva, he felt that he had regained his life. Nanda, overwhelmed with joy, immediately stood up and embraced Vasudeva. Vasudeva was received very warmly and offered a nice place to sit. Anxious about his two sons, who had been put under the protection of Nanda without Nanda's knowledge, Vasudeva inquired about them with great anxiety. Both Balaram and Krishna were the sons of Vasudeva. Balaram was transferred to the womb of Rohini, Vasudeva's own wife, but Rohini was kept under the protection of Nanda Maharaj. Krishna was personally delivered to Yashoda in exchange for her daughter. Nanda Maharaj knew that Balaram was the son of Vasudeva, but he did not know that Krishna was also Vasudeva's son. Vasudeva, of course, was aware of this fact and inquired very eagerly about both Krishna and Balaram. Vasudeva then addressed Nanda. My dear brother, you were old and very anxious to beget a son, and yet you had none. Now, by the grace of the Lord, you are fortunate to have a very nice son. I think that this incident is very auspicious for you. Dear friend, I was imprisoned by Kamsa, and now I am released. Therefore, this is another birth for me. I had no hope of seeing you again, but by God's grace, I can see you. In this way, Vasudeva indirectly expressed his anxiety about Krishna. Krishna was sent incognito to the bed of Mother Yashoda, and after Nanda very pompously celebrated Krishna's birth ceremony, he went to Mathura. So Vasudeva was very much pleased and said, "This is a new birth for me." He never expected that Krishna would live, because all his other sons had been killed by Kamsa. Vasudeva continued, my dear friend, it is very difficult for us to live together. Although we have our family and relatives, sons and daughters, by nature's way we are generally separated from one another. The reason for this is that every living entity appears on this earth under different pressures of fruitive activities. Although they assemble together, there is no certainty of their remaining together for a long time. According to one's fruitive activities, one has to act differently and thereby be separated. For example, many plants and creepers, we're separated from our family and friends, whether we like it or not. Time separates us. Karma separates us from our family and our friends, whether we like it or not. For example, many plants and creepers are floating on the waves of the ocean. Okay, to be continued. Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam kalon nastyevya, nastyevya, nastyeva gantir anyata. Yuga Dharma, Harinam Sacred Time. Let's chant. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhatta Vrinda. Nittai Gauranga Jaya, Nittai Gauranga, Nittai Gauranga Jaya, Nittai Gauranga, Nittai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari, Nittai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Sham, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham, Jai Jai Nitai, Jai Jai Gaur, Jai Jai Shri Damayapur. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Radhe Shama Sundar Radhe, Radhe Radhe Shama Sundar Radhe, Radhe Shama Sundar, Radhe Shama Sundar. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Nanda Yashoda Dula, Girivaradari Gopal, Jaya Nanda Yashoda Dula, Girivaradari Gopal, 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 Radha, 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 Krishna, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Jaya Shri Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Muna Devi, Jaya Shri Vrindavan Dham, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Premanandi Haribo, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Sham. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant Hare Krishna, be happy.